We are live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. You're watching Art Autopsy. This is a bi-weekly live streaming art event. I'm your host, Clint Carney. I'm a professional artist. I do a lot of work in the film and television industry. And every 2 weeks, I jump on YouTube and I make some art for your guys' viewer entertainment. If this is your first time watching, I highly encourage everyone watching at home to get out your art supplies and make some art right along with me. You don't have to try to make what I'm making, just make whatever kind of art you're into. It can be drawing, painting, sculpting, whatever you like. Just make some art. It gives you an excuse to make some art every 2 weeks, and the more you make, the happier you will be. And if you do make some art during the show and you'd like to share it with me, email it to me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com and I'll share it on an upcoming live stream. So, to that end, at the top of every episode, I share viewer art from the previous live stream. But before I get into that, I just want to say a very special thank you to everyone who supports me over on Patreon. So thank you, Jennifer, Tango14, Travis, Anthony, Rachel, Derek, Sea of Dead Faces, Violet, Jill, Charlie, Misty, Donna, Necro, Technicon, Stormy, Sarah, Brian, and Steven. Thank you guys so much for your support over there. If you'd like to support me, the link is up there to my Patreon. You can also sign up for free. Free accounts just get notified every time I do a live event, either online or in person. Or if you want to support financially, you get weekly updates and all kinds of stuff like that. Anyway, enough with the commercials. If you're watching, say hey in the chat. I'm going to be working on a painting during the live stream, but I do check kind of the chat throughout and I try to keep up with it. So I would love to hear what you guys are working on. Let's see who's in the chat right now. We have Jennifer Goupil and Travis. What's up, y'all? Thank you for joining. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's see. Let's get into, we only have one submission from the last live stream, and that is Jennifer Goupil. And check this out. Jennifer made this Bananasaurus, and I absolutely love this. I don't know if this is knitting, crocheting, I don't know. Let us know in the chat, Jennifer, exactly what technique that is. But, you know, the combination of a banana and a dinosaur, you can't really go wrong. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Make whatever medium that you want to. Just make some art with me. Or, you know, if you're not into making art, just hang out and participate in the chat. There's a lot of great artists that pop in and out of the chat throughout these things, so it's a good chance to meet other people. Let's see, Jennifer says it's crocheting. And let's see, Julie B has joined us, and Michael Garcia. Hey to both of you. Thanks for joining. So, this week, I was flipping through an old sketchbook. If you've watched the show before, you know a lot of times I'll get some ideas just from old sketches I've done before, because I tend to sketch the most random stuff. And every once in a while I'll find an old one that I think might make a cool painting. So this time I found a sketch from 2013, which is this thing. Here, and something about it. Obviously this is very rough, sketchy thing. I probably drew it in, 5 or 10 minutes. But there was a lot that I liked about it. I loved the melting head candle. I loved that there was this like chattering teeth with like an electrical plug in it, and then there's like a hint of a bird cage in the corner. There's a lot going on in here that I liked, and I have no idea what I was thinking when I drew it, as is often the case, but I think it's a cool image, and I think it's going to be a super fun painting. So most of the time, what I've done actually with every episode of Art Autopsy so far is I've just started painting right on the canvas and go from scratch. But this time I actually did a pencil sketch in advance, which I'm going to show you. I filmed it so you're not missing out on it. But I figured it's not going to be too exciting to see me sketch for a half hour plus as much as it would be just for me to film it and speed it up and show it to you in a minute. So this is me just kind of redrawing that, reimagining it, and drawing it a little better than I did 13 years ago when I first did that sketch. And then, yeah, I'm just using, I like these Blackwing pencils. So that's what I'm using on this sketch. Just kind of, getting everything in like a ballpark position, kind of refining some of the detail that wasn't quite there in the sketch, and just getting ready to turn it into hopefully an interesting painting. There were some objects in that original sketch on the table, and I couldn't tell what the hell they were, so I made it a lighter and a cigarette. I thought that would be fun. Yeah, it's got a vase with flowers. There's the bird cage in the corner, and the chattering teeth on the floor. And yeah, there you go. That's my sketch condensed down into a minute. And here we are. We're ready to go. After I did the pencil sketch, I just sprayed it with this Rust-Oleum clear enamel. So this is just to fix it there because I knew I would be running my hand over it and I didn't want to smudge it. So let me know what you think of that incredibly interesting idea for a painting, and we'll see how it turns out. Let's see, we got some more people in the chat. We got some love going on for Jennifer's Bananasaurus. That's excellent. Let's see, Sarah has joined. Hey Sarah, thanks for joining us. And Michael says your sketch rocks. Well, thank you. So yeah, this is super rough. I feel a little better about this composition. It's pretty similar to the original sketch. I just changed things a bit. And as is often the case, we're going to start with an underpainting, and I'm going to just do this underpainting in black and white. You'll notice typically I tone the canvas in advance. I kind of did this sketch at the last minute and did not tone it this time. So I'm just working on a white canvas here, and I'm just laying out some black and white oil paint on my palette over here. I'm using, for my underpainting, I'm using these Griffin Alkyd oil paints. These are fast drying oil paints. For underpaintings, I go with the fast drying stuff. It allows me to get into color faster. I don't know if we're going to get into color tonight. I mean, I would be very pleased if I got through the underpainting stage during this live stream, but there's a lot of detail in it, so we're going to see. We're going to see how fast I can paint. Fingers crossed. And as usual, I'm just starting out with this kind of like angled chisel tip brush here. So what are you guys working on? Let me know in the chat if you're working on art today and what type of stuff you're working on. Let's see. Jennifer says it's a good start. Julie says the sketch made me think of Joel Peter Witkin until the chattering teeth. So great. I love Joel Peter Witkin. So I thank you for that. All right, I'm just starting out with some black, and I'm just going to kind of try to refine the sketch, basically. Commit to some of my lines. I didn't get too crazy with the detail here. Actually, I might just paint the face first, right? And then go to the rest of it. Just see if we can't get this face in nice shape first. The biggest pain in the ass is going to be the wall in back. You see, I just made some quick and dirty hash marks there. That was because I got the bright idea of doing some kind of complex pattern for the wallpaper. So I just a lot of times I'll do that when I'm sketching, either in pencil or in paint. I'll just make a mark to remind myself of the intention. So I just made this quick, shitty crosshatch pattern just so I remember that this, my initial intent at least, is to kind of do a wallpaper in the background, whatever that might look like, so. And then also I did photograph this sketch and the original sketch too, and I have them both off over here near my palette on my iPad here, so I can look and reference them in case I completely demolish my sketch here on my canvas, so I won't lose track. I'm being a little more methodical with this painting than I have been with some of these live streams in the past. We're just going to see if that yields a better result or if it has no impact whatsoever. Either way, we are going to have some fun. And it is cold in my garage tonight, which is where I am painting from. But I got a space heater going and got a hoodie on, and I'm in it for the long haul. Let's see. Michael says he's going to make a Japanese oni mask made out of a milk jug. Oh, very cool. That sounds awesome. Jennifer is working on a painting of a bat. And Michael says he's painting it up and adding features. Oh, very cool. Glad to see you guys are working on some cool stuff. I look forward to seeing what you guys create. Don't forget to email me photos so I can share it on the upcoming live stream. And so in my original sketch, I just, I clearly just made like these cartoony lines coming out to indicate the flame of the candle. But what I'll have to do here is actually make it look like this flame is emitting light and casting appropriate shadow and lighting things up. I kind of wanted to also have a light source in the room, probably coming from in front and up. So this side of the head is going to be in a darker shadow than the other side, just to make it a little more dynamic. If I had the candle light be the only source of light, then we're going to lose a lot of, we won't see a lot of the other details in the room that we would like to see, because then everything would be in shadow. So I don't want that to happen. So I am going to add, we're going to just pretend there's more light in the room, just so we can see the details. Because if this candle was the only thing emitting light, everything below, including the teeth and all this, would just be in darkness. But I want to see more detail. Oh, this is another thing I sketched in here too. I thought it would be fun, because I didn't do this. Well, I hinted at the wax pouring off the table in the initial sketch, but I thought it would be fun to have it like pooling and dripping down the base of the table. So we'll see how that goes. And I also I'm thinking that it would be cool to be honest, when I was doing the initial sketch, I probably, and again, I'm going back 13 years, so I can't say for sure, but I was probably intending it to be more of like a severed head rotting and melting out on the table. But as I got into redrawing it, to me, it felt cooler to have it be, because it had the flame, to make it more waxy, and maybe even to lean into a really crazy color palette, and maybe have it be a multicolored candle thing that forms this head, while still trying to keep the head realistic. So I want it to feel like it's a living head ultimately, but that it's transitioning down into wax, if that makes sense. So it is a living head, but it is also made of wax. So yeah, so this is just going to be the wax dripping down here. And then, yeah, want to go really crazy with the colors. So like as the wax swirls around here, um, maybe it's a rainbow pattern or a bicolored pattern. I don't know. We'll see. You know me. I like adding lots of color to my pieces. So the more color I can get in here, the better. And then don't ask. I obviously, roses I can draw all day. The other flowers, I have no idea what kinds of flowers they are. I just threw in some petals. So if you're a floral expert out there, try not to critique my random random petal pattern here. Is anyone out there who's watching today, is it anyone's first time watching the live stream? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to try to, try to reinforce just the basic outline of these things first real quick just so I don't lose the shapes too much as I add more and more paint. How is everyone's 2026 coming along so far? Mine's going good. I just went to Descanso Gardens on Wednesday. I had a painting that was showing in the gallery there, and it was showing from November until this week. So I went and picked that painting up. So it was really fun. I had wanted to show in that gallery for a while, although it is a gallery that kind of, shows more nature-based art, which is not something that I normally do. My stuff leans on the surreal and horror side, so I did a painting specifically for that gallery show, just something that was a little more commercial, I guess, and was lucky enough to get in there. So I was happy that, I was happy that it had a good run there. And now that painting is back home with me. I'm going to be listing it on my website soon for anyone who is interested in owning a very colorful paint squirrel. Although I do love me some squirrels, so I don't mind if this painting just lives in my private collection. Okay, well, now that I threw some paint over this sketch, I'm actually not feeling too bad about it. It's shaping up. So I'm just at this underpainting stage. This is just about getting the values in, the shadows and the light and stuff. And now that I know I want to do multicolors on this wax. So I'm thinking about, and as I continue to work this up, I'll be thinking about the different values that each of those colors will hold. And by that I mean, when we see it in black and white, when this underpainting is finished, I think we should be able to see a difference between, let's just say for fun, we're going to do a rainbow color. So if we do red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, whatever, on here, we should be able to see the separations in the black and white version, right? I mean, some of the colors will kind of blend together, but they shouldn't all have the same value either. So I'm going to try to get that across in this underpainting. And if I can get the value separation across to where we can tell, oh, there's separate colors of wax before we even get into the color stage of things, then I think we can be pretty successful with it being dynamic once we add the color in. Henry Swift, it's his first time watching. Well, thank you, Henry. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's see, Michael says, getting ready for Bacon this year. Is that I assume that's a convention? Is it a bacon-based convention? Yeah, I don't have any. I've booked a couple movies this year so far on the visual effects side of things. Um, and I'm bidding on some other ones, but they won't start up for a little while. So the first half of the year for me, I'm going to be focusing on painting, and I'm working on a new album for my band System Sin, which is coming along really nicely. Very happy with how that's shaping up. And also writing a book. So that's kind of where my head is at for the start of the year. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with my initial random swirls here as like a basic guide for the shape. So maybe I'm just going to allocate this area here to be like leave that whiter on the underpainting, and maybe that'll be like the yellow or a lighter color, um, and then surround it by some darker colors just to get some dynamic grossness happening. If I do my job on this painting, it will simultaneously look disgusting and beautiful at the same time. We'll see. Depending on your taste. All right, I'm gonna let that set up for a second. Let's get these flowers in a little better shape here. I also want to think about too what the color separation is going to be on these flowers. So I'm going to want to do something that is almost maybe matchy to the colors I'm going to choose for the wax on the head, or if not necessarily matchy, at least diverse color palette wise. Um, so I also want to think about how I'm going to separate the values. I'm just building up some wax here as if it were a candle there. Separate the values on the flowers. So let's say these ones in the foreground we'll want to pop, so we'll keep those like lighter colors, and then maybe we'll push some of these colors in the background and certainly the stems and the leaves into a darker space to let those foreground flowers pop out. So I'm just gonna pick this flower in the background for starters and darken it up around the edges. And again, at this stage of the underpainting, it's mostly about preserving the sketch, just getting those lines covered. So I'm painting very thin. I have odorless terpenoid, which I use as a paint thinner, and I'm just dipping the brush in black and then in the odorless terpenoid to thin that out. So we got, this will be like a darker flower in back right here, then a lighter flower, and then a darker flower, and then we're going to go to a lighter flower here with this rose. So this will probably be a white rose or a yellow rose or something of that nature right here in front. I have have certainly painted more roses than I have any other flower. Could probably draw a rose with my eyes closed at this point. And then these, throw some leaves coming out the side here, just darken those up again, more so just to kind of push the white rose into the forefront there a bit. Michael says, my mom says your painting looks amazing as well. Well, thank you, Michael's mom. I appreciate that. Let's see, Undead of Night has joined us. Let's see, says, loving the sketch, could be a cover of a horror comic that he would buy instantly. Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you. Michael says, BayCon is a Comic-Con at Bay College. Excellent. Count von Bach-Wolfing, I'm mispronouncing that. Love it. Looks like it could be a cover of an EC comic. Oh, thank you. I love me some EC comics. Oh, another thing I'm working on, I should say, been in the middle of editing a new video for the YouTube channel. Last year, I had a chance to sit down and interview Pete Von Schawley, and Pete is just an amazingly talented artist. He does all kinds of stuff, but he's most famous for being a storyboard artist, and he's storyboarded films like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, The Mist, The Blob, the Chuck Russell version of The Blob, and just a really cool dude. And I did a long form interview with him last year, and honestly I got busy with other stuff, and recently I remembered that I had this footage of this amazing interview with him, so I'm going through and kind of polishing up that edit and getting that ready to release. So if any of you are interested in what goes into being a storyboard artist for film and television, look for that interview coming up with Pete, because it was a really good talk with him, and very insightful. I think when I did that interview, because it was, I believe it was in February of last year, that was really the first, although I had talked to him before at an art show briefly, I didn't really know him. So this was my first time kind of getting to know him through this conversation. But then since the interview, we've kept in touch and have become friends, and he's a really cool dude. Okay, those flowers are, you can tell they're flowers. All right, there's some work to be done there, but I'm just, again, just reinforcing my pencil sketch, shaping it up. And I got to think about what, I'm just going dark in between the flowers because it's going to be filled with all kinds of leaves and stuff in there. But that detail is just going to fall into the darkness. So I'm just going solid black in there for right now, and we'll work out the detail at a later stage. Anyway, I got to decide what kind of a pattern I want to do on this wallpaper. I love, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to say I love painting patterns, because they can be a total pain to do, but I love the end result. Like if you can add pattern into, you know, into the cloth of a character's wardrobe, or in this case, the wallpaper, or even adding like cool tattoos onto the skin of a character in a painting. Something about doing like an intricate pattern really adds a lot to it. And I think I really just want to nerd out on the detail on this piece and go crazy with it and come up with something cool. So I won't, maybe the pattern itself might not be too intricate, but it will, you know, I'll keep it somewhat subtle, but I think it will add a lot. Otherwise you have this very bold image here, and then I don't want it to just be a solid color in the background. I want to just kind of explore doing something unique with that wallpaper or whatever. That's my thought now. But of course, if you have watched this show before, you know that I will often talk about my plans for a painting, and then by the time I'm done with it, I go in a completely opposite direction. So we'll see. But that's where my head's at right now. Best laid plans of mice and men, though, right? But I think that could be cool. And then there's going to be some water in the vase. I sketched a little water line here, which I think I'm fine with that water line, so I'm just going to reinforce that now. Oops. I got to get a rag. Just out of reach. Here we go. And this will be fun too, is getting, you know, obviously, oh, that is a rather lopsided vase, isn't it? But it will be fun as we progress with this painting to, yeah, make it look like glass, hopefully, by the time we're done. You know, not at this early stage, but as the painting progresses, we're going to endeavor to make this look like a real glass vase, and then in doing so, you know, you got to think about how that warps these stems inside and the leaves underneath, and then how they might warp and change direction as they, right here, they're on the surface of the water, but then the water refracts, so maybe then that kind of bends where we perceive it going down, just that refraction of the water there. So, yeah, again, we're just getting in the shapes and basic ideas, but as we go forward, we're going to think about all of that. And then, so, you know, the table is maybe darker right here, but because of the warp of this and the way that the light is going to wrap around it, you know, the curvature there of the glass, maybe this part of the vase where we're really just seeing the wallpaper there, but it's wrapped around the glass like that. So, you know, I'm just kind of spitballing here and roughing in these ideas as we go, but they will come to life and be better defined throughout the process. Let's see. Michael says his favorite Nightmare on Elm Streets are 3, 4, and 5. Those are some good ones. Yeah, I think 3 and 4 are probably my favorites. But well, no, actually, the first one is my favorite. But there's a lot to love about all of them, honestly. So, Jennifer says you should do the wallpaper from your house. That would be fun, although that might drive me crazy because it's very, that's a very crazy pattern. Travis says do the classic dry blood pink floral wallpaper. Hey, there's an idea. Also one that might drive me crazy with all of the detail. But that could be fun. That could be a little Easter egg. Henry Swift says, I see a lot of people using burnt umber for their underpainting. Are you using black just as a personal preference? That's a great question, Henry. Sometimes I do use burnt umber for underpaintings. For some reason, with these live streams, I've kind of found myself just doing a lot of black and white underpaintings. Haven't done a lot of colorful underpaintings, but typically when not doing the live streams, when I'm working on underpaintings, I will often find myself doing like a green, a monochromatic green underpainting, but it really kind of depends on how premeditated I've been about the overall colors that I'm going to use in the final piece. I haven't committed to any colors on this one yet, so black and white is extremely neutral, so everything is on the table. And yeah, burnt umber is a great choice for an underpainting as well. But yeah, you can you can use whatever you like, whatever you get used to. But if you know, let's say that your painting is going to be primarily red, then sometimes I'll go with the complementary color of a green and have that be the underpainting. So yeah, I just kind of feel it out piece by piece. But oddly enough, when I first started showing in galleries, which was like in 2004, 2005, I was just showing black and white pieces. Actually, I mean, I painted in color, you know, when I was younger or whatever, but I at the time when I started showing in galleries, I was just on this black and white kick. So I did a lot of paintings that were just all black and white. And then when I started adding color back in, because I had done so many in black and white, I kind of went through a phase of just doing all the underpaintings in black and white, and then eventually got to where I was bringing color back into the underpainting. But yeah, you can choose whatever you want, but that's a good question. Let's see. Undead of Night says that would make a great diorama or a sculpted bust. Oh, thank you. Michael says he got a new resin skull for Christmas, so I can make a milk jug skulls for next Halloween. Oh, very cool. Very cool. And for anyone who doesn't know what that is, the milk jug skulls, where you take like those plastic milk jugs and you put it over a skull form, then you can use a heat gun or a blow dryer and basically shape the plastic around the skull. It's a super fun and fast way to make fake skulls if you need to make a lot of them. Oh, and now that it's 2026, I don't know if anyone here watches the show The Rookie, but this new season that's about to air, I did some drawings for one of the characters. So I can't give details yet because you know it hasn't aired yet. But one of the I guess villains of an episode is has some art, some rather interesting art, and I got to do the drawings for that. So if you watch that show, keep an eye out. When you see a character that has done some messed up artwork, just know that that was me having done it. I always love getting to do art for a movie or a TV show where you know, where it's supposed to be the character in the show who has done the art, because it allows you to kind of step into the role of what that character is supposed to be and try to envision what that character would create in your piece, you know, so that's always fun. And that gig came to me because the assistant prop master on that show, or maybe at least one of the prop people working on it, she was a prop person on this Stephen King movie that I worked on many years ago called Mercy. It was directed, that one was directed by Peter Cornwell, and he's the guy that directed Haunting in Connecticut. And he did the Stephen King movie, and Chandler Riggs, the Carl from The Walking Dead, was in it, and yeah, it had a good cast. It was a fun movie. And anyway, I did just a ton of paintings for that movie, painting sketches. I got to do like an evil book and all kinds of fun stuff for that one. And anyway, when you work on movies, sometimes people from one movie you work on pull you in on the next thing, and even years later, you know what I just did? Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. I just totally smeared all of this with the back of my hand. Behold my handiwork. So what I had done, if you're just joining me, after I did the sketch, I sprayed it all with this polyacrylic enamel just to cement in the sketch. But what I just completely forgot to remember is that makes it not absorb paint at all. Um, so so the oil paint is just sitting on the surface of that, therefore making it completely easy to smear, which I just did. So I'm going to have to be extremely careful as I fix this, and basically I'm going to have to be extremely careful um, until this layer of paint dries, because I don't want to keep smearing it over and over again. That was a little bit of a setback, but you know, with paint, there's nothing that you can do to it that you can't fix. You know, you can't repaint or whatever. So it does suck to mess up some work from time to time, but it's also not a big deal, you know. Oh, thank you, Henry, for the congratulations. Appreciate that. Okay, yeah, I can tell, man, that was in retrospect, I should have just sprayed some hairspray on it just to cement that sketch in place and prevent it from smearing, because that would then still absorb the paint, and I would still be able to little cigarette here. I would still be able to yeah, the surface would still absorb the paint, and it wouldn't stay as slick as it is right now, and I wouldn't have run into that smearing it with the back of my hand. But this is a good time to employ my yardstick here. So my easel has this little lip underneath it, and I can just lean that against it and lean my hand against this, and hopefully prevent future paint smearings. So this is just like a Bic lighter here. This is when I go back to kind of finish up this painting and finish the detail. This is an instance where I'm going to actually want to look at a lighter here. I'm just kind of I do this a lot in early stages. I just like go off my memory. It's like, oh, what does that look like? I think there's a button there, and this is where the thing comes out, and this is be like, it's a label on it typically or whatever. But before I call the painting finish, I will inevitably take a lighter, look at it, make sure it looks accurate, make sure the dimensions are correct, and if I don't have one on hand, I'll look at a photo of one, you know. No shortage of reference out there for anything that you could ever possibly want to paint. And this table is just going to be like a wood grain, you know, so I'm just hinting at it a little bit with some lines and stuff. Okay, and there's this bird cage that's just like in the corner right here. We don't see a bird in it. At least there wasn't a bird in my initial sketch. Maybe we'll see a little something in the cage as we progress. I should probably be more precise with my lines here, but for now I'm just reinforcing the sketch, and we'll get that more refined later. Oh, let's see. Undead of Night says they have Mercy on DVD. Now I have to watch it again to pay more attention to the artwork. The better, scarier version of the King Grandma story was done for the Twilight Zone series. Yeah, that one is, the Twilight Zone version of that is more accurate to the short story for sure. The Mercy, although based on Grandma, very loosely based on Grandma. It goes off and does its own thing, but you'll see it's my art. It's all over the movie. I mean, it's in the opening. The whole opening title sequence is my artwork all over the background. But then one of the characters, and I forget who the actress was that played the artist in that movie, but I did all of her art, and then there's like an evil book in there, like, you know, like a spell book or some kind of thing like that. I did all of that stuff, and yeah, I ended up, that was one of those movies, they brought me on as an artist, and then I ended up building props for it too. That happens a lot sometimes. You know, you get pulled on to do one thing in a movie, and then they find out you can do other stuff, and then your job just kind of sprawls, and that was certainly one of those movies. I ended up making, oh man, I made like a really fun thing for that movie that I don't think actually made it into the movie. I don't know if the scene got cut or they just never filmed it. But I made a full-on articulated dead crow that was supposed to smash through a window, and it was a really cool prop. Looked just like a dead crow. Had feathers and everything and a beak, and sculpted that up. That was a super fun thing to build, but yeah, I don't think it actually is in the movie. But yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. I got to go back and watch it. But I do remember the last time I watched it, which was years ago, probably at the premiere. Might have been the last time I watched it. In those, you know, you work on a movie and then like they come out a year or more after you're done with it. So by the time a movie comes out, you know, you've usually or I've usually gone on and done a few other things in the interim, and I think that was one of those movies where I was surprised because I had forgotten all of the random things that I did for it. So it's kind of cool to revisit a movie like that where you do a bunch of random stuff just to be reminded of all the crap you did that that's in the movie. But it was super fun. I liked the director a lot. He was a super fun guy to work with, and great crew. My buddy Skip Crank was one of the prop guys on that. Worked with him on a ton of films. He was awesome. And then that was the film where I met another friend of mine, Randy Erickson, who was I think he was the prop master on that. And then later on, Randy would go to be the prop master for the show Blackish, which then he brought me onto that show, and I think I did 5 seasons of Blackish, just doing art and props and all kinds of random stuff. The first thing I did for that that show is I made a fake Thanksgiving turkey just to be on the table in one of the scenes, and then yeah, just did all kinds of stuff over the years on that show. But let's see. Michael says, have you seen a 1970s kung fu horror movie called Devils Express? The monster in that movie is so cool looking. I have not seen that. That sounds cool though. Kind of my favorite era of films tends to be my favorite decade of films tends to be the 1970s. So I'll keep an eye out for that one. And the flame here in the candle is just going to be solid white. It's the brightest thing. It's probably the only thing in the whole painting that will end up being solid white. So I'm just throwing in some white, and then I'm just mixing up a really light gray. I don't know tonally what the wallpaper is going to be in the background yet, but I'm just going to throw in a little bit of gray behind it here just to separate out that flame. And certainly one thing I'm going to think about too is how the light source is going to, the light source of this candle and then any other light that's going to be happening in the room is going to play across this the wallpaper. So it'll be brighter here and then it'll get darker as it comes out from it. But now more than ever, I'm regretting that decision to spray the plastic fixative, because it's going to be I'm going to be fighting it through the whole underpainting and probably beyond. But that's all right. You learn a lesson every painting, right? Everything you do, you learn what not to do the next time, what works or what doesn't. But the more I cover up of this the pencil sketch, then obviously then the easier the next layer will be. And if you've never, for those of you that have never watched me paint before, I work in layers. It's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. Every now and again, I'll just go in with thick, bold color choices immediately, but usually I'm just building up layers over time. Um, so it's okay that I have to deal with this coat on the canvas. Or I shouldn't say canvas. Actually, if you couldn't tell already, this is a board. It's a gesso board. It's just what do they call it? Masonite. It's just a board, and you can buy these pre-made, pre-gessoed, which is what this one is. It was already, all that work was done for me. Sometimes I'll cut the wood myself and do that all from scratch, but a lot of times I just buy something that's ready to go. Michael says, awesome on the birdcage, by the way. Thank you. Still lots of work to go on that, but I appreciate the kind words. Henry Swift says, got some Reanimator vibe. Gotta love that movie. Reanimator is awesome. Oh, the guy I was talking about earlier, Pete Von Shawley, that I'm editing the interview with, he did not storyboard Reanimator, but he did storyboard Bride of Reanimator, I believe. So he did a lot of those full moon films. And for those who have joined who weren't in from the top, you're watching Art Autopsy. It's a bi-weekly live stream that I do. I'm Clint Carney, your host. I'm a professional painter. I work in the world of film and television quite a bit. And every 2 weeks I get on the old YouTube channel and I paint live. I encourage everyone watching at home to get out your art supplies, whatever your medium of choice is, and make some art with me. And if you do and you want to share it with me and with my viewers, email it to me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. And at the top of every live stream, I always share artwork that people made during the previous live stream. So email it to me if you want me to share your work, and I will share it on the next live stream. And again, this is for the new folks, because I know we got a lot of new viewers this time around. We got 19 people watching right now, which is awesome. This whole Art Autopsy event started as an in-person event. There's a gallery in Burbank, California called Hyena Gallery, and I used to host this as a live in-person event at the gallery. Did it for a number of years. And we would have guest artists every month, and any artist could show up and make art at the gallery. Then, after the pandemic, it kind of that fizzled out because there weren't a lot of in-person events anymore. But then just last year, I brought this event back just for YouTube. I'm hoping we can do it live and in person again. And we'll obviously, if we do it live in person again, we'll still broadcast it on the old YouTube channel. But since I brought it back last year, we did, this is episode 21, so I did 20 different live streams so far just last year, which means I created, many different paintings specifically for this live stream that I otherwise wouldn't have done. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been really worthwhile to me and really cool to get to meet a lot of the people that watch and talk with them in the chat and so forth. And if you're ever in the Burbank area, stop on by Hyena Gallery. It's a fun little gallery in Burbank. It's like a hole in the wall place, right? It's not like a huge gallery, but when you go in there, it is jam packed with all kinds of crazy art and just all kinds of cool stuff. So it's one of my favorite spots, and it's the gallery that first gave me a shot. Took a chance on my weird art, so it will forever have a place in my heart. Okay, I'm going to switch to a bigger brush. I don't know why I'm laying in this background with such a tiny brush. Just not being very efficient. We're going to switch to a bigger one. Just try to make some progress here. Yeah, and if you missed it at the top, this underpainting I'm doing, it's an oil paint, but it's a alkyd oil paint, which means it's a faster drying oil paint, and that will enable me to get past the underpainting phase sooner than later, and which will be great, especially because I messed up when I put this coat of crystal clear basically an acrylic coat on the painting just to try to preserve the sketch, and that was a bad call on that because this is not absorbing the paint at all, so it's all just sitting on the surface. So had I not used the alkyd, I would be waiting for this to dry for quite a while, but fortunately because of the alkyd I should be able to go back to it in a couple days and find that I can let it dry again. Yeah, my fear is that I'm not going to be able to get as much done as I'd hoped for tonight just because of this this coat, this clear coat on the canvas, but we're going to keep going and see what we can get done. But I wanted to get a lot of detail in that head done tonight, only yeah, the canvas not absorbing the paint is certainly throwing a monkey wrench in those plans. But just so you guys know, I film every painting, right? So whatever we don't get done in the live stream on this, I'm filming the whole process. I put up time lapses of most of my paintings on all my socials, so follow me over on Instagram or here on YouTube. Just subscribe to the old channel, and whatever we don't get done today in the painting, if you want to see how it all comes together in a time-lapsed form, that'll be coming soon enough, as soon as it's wrapped. Henry asks, how fast does it take that particular oil paint to dry compared to traditional oil? So this is, the alkyds will generally dry overnight, like on a canvas or even on like a gesso board like this typically. However, again, because of this acrylic coating on it, the clear enamel, it might take 2 days, 2 or 3 days to fully dry. Whereas like oil by itself without any kind of a medium to accelerate the dry time, if you paint real thin, it goes faster, but if you're not painting thin, if you go thick, it can take months sometimes. But I tend to paint thinner and always mix with mediums to help speed things up. So but yeah, for artists that paint extremely thick with oil, without mixing it with a medium to accelerate the dry time, it can take an extremely long time to dry. which is fine if you're not, if you're just painting and it gets to hang in your studio for a while it dries, that's fine. But if you have a tight deadline and you got to drop off a painting at a gallery or with a client or whatever, you know, that's when it can be troublesome to deal with that slow dry time. But that's why I tend to use a medium called Liquin, which thins out the paint and also accelerates the dry time, which is when I get into the stage where I'm adding in color, I'll be using that Liquin to do a technique called glazing, which is basically just washing in thinner layers of paint on top of the paint underneath. Julie says, I have used workable fixative before and it is layering friendly. Yeah, that's what I should have used, Julie. Or even hairspray, honestly, does the trick. I did this sketch like, you know, an hour before the live stream, and I just grabbed the first clear spray from my drawer of spray paint, and it was, I didn't think about it, and it was dumb, but you know, live and learn. I still think that the painting will end up cool in the long run. It's just going to impede the amount that I can get done during the stream, but you know, that's all right. I still have, of the paintings that I did during the live streams last year, I have 2 remaining that are still works in progress. I'm slowly chipping away at those. So on the next live stream, which will be 2 weeks from today, I'll be hopefully have not only this one finished, but if all goes well, I'll have the other 2 finished, or at least one of the other 2 finished. I was trying to do some kind of a woodworking pattern here, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm just doing these random lines. I'm just, they're not so random. I'm just trying to maybe do some kind of a leaf woodworking pattern. I'm just sketching it out in the paint right now, and I'll refine it better as I go in. But if you're wondering and thinking I'm going crazy with these squiggles, that's my thought process. But yeah, so hopefully on the next live stream I'll have multiple finished paintings to show you guys. And if you want to see them even earlier, sign up for my Patreon. The link is on the screen. Blah 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 blah. I do, you know, I do weekly updates on there. So if you want to know the latest of what's going on with me week to week, kind of what art projects I'm working on, both in the painting world, in the music world, in the film world, and all that jazz, sign on up. I'd love to have you over there. Okay, so again, I mentioned before, these are going to be drips of this wax coming down here. Just kind of leaning back in the chair to see if that is all working so far. It's working-ish. So anyone who has joined recently or who is working on art, let me know. Let us know in the chat. Introduce yourself. Tell us what you're working on. Or even if you're not working on something right now, if you're an artist, what's your medium of choice? What do you tend to gravitate towards? I'd love to know. I'd love to know who's watching. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe. Last year started out with, I think, 8,000 or 9,000 subscribers on the channel, and just over the course of the last year grew it to 27,000 subscribers. Really crazy growth year for the channel. Really grateful for everyone who signed up, but I have even more ambitious goals for the new year. So sign up. Help me get to 100. I do have a lot of new content I'm working on. So not just painting videos, but prop videos, interviews, all kinds of stuff. And since I've got a new album coming out this year as well, there'll be new music videos for my band. If you've never heard my band before, there are music videos on the channel right now, or it's on Spotify and all of that, all of the usual suspects. It's called System Sin. Trying to think. Trying to make sure that the curve of this is feeling right. See how the paint is it's just like sliding around on top of the surface. Oh, I can't help it. I'm just going to be complaining about this painting surface through this whole painting. I just gotta power through it, man. I'm probably going to try to do some more conventions this year too. Hyena Gallery does that Hyena Horror Market a few times a year. I don't know when the next one's coming up, but I'm sure I will be vending there. And I may try to do some other art shows and conventions as well. Probably just in Los Angeles, though, or in the surrounding area, just because the movie work keeps me kind of tied to LA, but eventually I'm going to try to do some other cons that are outside of the area. So for those of you who aren't in LA, if there's anything cool in your neck of the woods that you think I should consider doing, let me know what cool ones are. Liz has joined. Hey Liz, thanks for joining. Let's see, Michael says, sometimes I like to use fabric paint on hoodies sometimes. Oh, nice. I don't know if I've ever used fabric paint. Might be worth an experiment. Liz, tell us what you're working on today. Liz has been a long-time contributor, showing her art on the show. Okay, so again, I think so. This is going to be like this lighter color wax here dripping down. So that's maybe going to hit here in the middle, and then like darker, like the reds and the blues on that side, maybe. So this is going to be a darker puddle of wax, I think. I'm just, again, just reinforcing the sketch at this stage still. So that'll be darker. It's going to transition into a lighter color and be even lighter still in the middle, and then go back out to a darker color wax again at the edge, I think. Johnny Hayward has joined. John Hayward. Hey, John. Thanks for joining. And Liz says she's been to a tattoo class earlier with shading American traditional designs. Just taking a break to watch me paint. All right. Well, thanks for watching. That sounds like a fun class. Okay, keeping that loose. Okay, and then let's see, I got a wall socket here. which I'm quite sure I can render better than I did already in that really rough sketch, but just keeping it loose for right now. And then we've got this, yeah, I'll detail that out later. And then we've got this chattering teeth thing here that is like plugged in. If any of you are familiar with the whole chattering teeth thing, these are typically just a wind-up toy. I don't know why when I did the sketch that I made it like a plug-in thing, but I really liked that little detail to it, so I wanted to keep that going. And that's probably the entire purpose of why there's even a wall socket there, is because just to show that that this is a plug-in thing, but at the moment it is not plugged in. I wonder if they're still making chattering teeth wind-up toys. They gotta be. It was a classic. I don't know who's buying them, but you know, I bet you they're still on the market. Okay, so our floors here, we're just going to go with like a wood floor, probably something not too dissimilar from what the wood's going to be on the, I'll get into the teeth in just a second. I just want to get the wood done. And then this is just like the, what do you call it? The board lining the bottom of the wall there. So that's going to be a lighter color wood, and then this is going to be darker wood on the floor itself. So. Yeah, one thing I'll say for this acrylic coat that I put on there first is the paint just glides over it, right? It just flows very smoothly. It just doesn't stick at all. Just stays right on the surface, but it does travel far across the canvas. Thank you, Liz and Michael, for the nice comments. Glad you're enjoying it so far. We're gonna squeeze out some more paint. Is my head I fear that my head is blocking this whole part of the thing. I just now looked at the camera. I was trying a new camera setup on this episode. Although now that I just glanced over there, I realized that my head is naturally blocking the whole bottom of this canvas. So hopefully that's not too annoying. John Hayward says, love the old creepy comic book style. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, gotta love those EC comics and such. Yeah, this piece I think is really going to come together once it gets into color. But that's going to have to come after this layer dries. But I think it's going to end up being a cool piece. I appreciate you guys tuning in to watch the start of it. So we'll see. Depending, I would love to have this finished by the time the next stream comes around. But if not, maybe we'll even get to work. I'll get to show you guys a little bit of the detailing on it if I'm still working on it next time. But we'll see. See how fast I can paint in between now and then. And of course, to some degree, we'll be at the mercy of the dry time of the paint. Yeah, that ain't drying. Let's see. Undead of Night says your Tarman bust in the background is giving your painting the old evil eye. I think he's jealous. Oh, well, thank you. Check this out. I'll bring him up close. This is a dude. I sculpted this dude in Blender. So anyone who knows Blender, it's an awesome 3D program, and it's absolutely free, and you can make fun stuff like that in there. So check that out. But thank you, Undead of Night, for pointing them out. You know what I'm overdue on? Speaking of sculpting, I need to make a new mask soon. It has been a while since I've sculpted a new mask. Maybe that would be an interesting live stream too sometime to do a live stream sculpt job. I don't know. You guys be interested in that at all, or do you prefer just watching me paint? Let me know if you want to see some live stream sculpting sometime. Man, every time I look up, I realize that my friggin' head is blocking the bottom of this. Maybe I'll try shifting a little bit off camera, so as I paint these, as I work on these teeth, I'm not completely blocking everything I'm doing with my head. Let's see if I can make this work. I'm not quite sure why one would need chattering teeth that plug into the wall, but I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe that would be a fun build too. Wall-powered chattering teeth. That'll make a good YouTube video, at least building that. Highly impractical, but good entertainment. Am I still blocking it with my stupid head? Dang it. There's like no way for me to paint this with this camera position without blocking it with my head. I'm just having to lean back all the way out of camera on the other camera. Well, like I said, I was trying out new camera positions this time around. It's a work in progress. I'm always trying to see how I can make these live streams a little better. So, improving bit by bit, but clearly this camera position is rough. Okay, that's probably enough on that for right now. Let's go back in and see if we can get a little more detail in on that face, so I don't have to be leaning out of camera for too long here. Let's see what's happening in the chat here. Let's see. Liz says, I'd love to see live sculpting. Necrotechnicon, hey, thanks for joining. Says yes to the live stream sculpting. Julie says yes to the sculpting. Let's see. Henry Swift says, is that new Return of the Living Dead movie ever coming out? I've seen a trailer. It was supposed to be released Christmas, but haven't heard anything more on that. It is still being filmed, to the best of my knowledge. I know they've shot some more additional stuff for it. Actually got a call from that director about doing some storyboard stuff for it, but I was busy on another movie, so I wasn't able to, but I passed that one along. But I'm pretty sure they're still filming it. I think they did like a premiere recently. I saw in my Instagram feed of some of the new footage that they've shot, but I'm guessing that they're targeting Christmas release next year now, but we'll see. But yeah, looking forward to that. Let's see. Liz says the candle wax melting looks so realistic. Oh, thank you. Still a lot of work to go on there, but I appreciate that. Let's see. Siren A. Roman Luna Nocturna. Absolutely yes to doing live sculpting 100. Would love to see how it's done. Thank you. Well, that seems to be, everyone seems to be interested in that. So yeah, let's do it. Count says same thing. Wants to see the mask sculpt. Michael Garcia. Clint, when you little, did you learn to draw or paint or self-taught? My dad paints, and I had other relatives that paint, but mostly, so I did pick up stuff from them, but mostly I was a self-starter in terms of I always liked reading books on art, and just kind of studying it on my own a lot, and then just always did it. So it was certainly extremely helpful to be around other artists. But it was always just something that I was really passionate about. So I just stuck with it, read as much as I could, watched tutorials, watched other people work, and just kind of was just interested in it my whole life. So that seems to be a resounding yes to doing the sculpting in a live stream. So I will... we'll set that up. We'll do that in a future one. Either we'll do it in Art Autopsy, or we'll do its own thing, sculpting. Give me a good excuse to make another mask. Anyone who, I do have, if you go to my website, clintcarney.com, look in the store there, and you can see some of the other masks I've made if you're curious about like masks I've made in the past and stuff. It's a lot of fun. I love masks, and if you follow me on social media, you've probably seen my backdrop there, and my office is just filled with masks. I have a ridiculous mask collection. I love them. I've always been obsessed with masks and Halloween, so that's been a lifelong obsession, and I love making them as well. I have other sculptor friends too that have been trying to get me to come out and sculpt with them, so need to do that sometime too. It's always fun to sculpt or even paint with other people in the room with you, because it keeps you motivated and the time passes. I mean, I love, even doing the live stream is super fun because, certainly I love painting, but at its core, it's just me in a room talking to myself. I mean, I talk to you guys in the chat or whatever, but it's when there's other people actually in the room with you, time passes pretty quickly. A lot of this like white on the face is just the white of the canvas, right? So what I'm doing now at this stage, I want to try to get as much of that actual canvas, or the board rather I should say, covered with some layer of paint, just so that when I get into so that when this has a chance to dry and I get back into it, I'm not just painting on top of that shitty crystal clear layer that I had sprayed on it. So I'm just trying to get all the bare spots covered right now. Like a completely different version, like a sequel, although it does have Tarman in it. Um, so I don't know. I don't know really too much about it beyond what's been released publicly. So it remains to be seen. Although I look forward to seeing it. Although I will say, I applaud the filmmakers for making a new one, but I love the original so much. I would be very surprised if it could compete with the original film. That's just one of the best zombie movies, well, best movies period in my book ever made. So looking forward to seeing what they do with it. Let's see. Henry Swift says you definitely don't have to go to college to make a living as an artist. No, definitely not. I'm living proof of that. I make a living as an artist. Did not go to college. Well, I did go to college for like 3 months, but then I dropped out because nothing that I wanted to do required the degree. Henry says, supposed to be a continuation of the 85 film. Oh, okay, so it's supposed to pick up where that left off? That's cool. Oh, random coincidence. Speaking of Return of the Living Dead, today is the anniversary of the release of Part 2. Part 2 came out, I don't know what anniversary it is. I just saw on Facebook someone posted that it was the whatever anniversary, 40th or something year of Part 2. And interestingly enough, that housing track from Part 2, where the main kid lives and stuff like that, it's right down the street from where I live. Or not right down, about a mile away from where I live, I guess. Here in good old Santa Clarita, California. Also, another film storyboarded by Pete Von Schalle, the guy we were talking about before. Also, he storyboarded Return of the Living Dead 2 and 3, I believe. I know a lot of people don't like 2. You know, and I can see that if you're going to compare it to the first one, but I have a soft spot for Return of the Living Dead 2 as well. I know it's not as good as the first one, but I still like it. It's fun. It's goofy and, you know, over the top, and it fully embraced being a comedy. You know, I still like it. Again, I'm just trying to think of, you know, the wax that's dripping down as well as parts of his skin and stuff. I'm trying to think of how these could be separated into different colors of wax, um, which is a bit abstract right now when you're just dealing with a black and white underpainting. Um, but if you think about those value differences at this stage of the painting, when you go in and you add color, having those colors exist with different light values really is going to separate them quite nicely. So it's good to think about that even during the underpainting stage. Unless the painting turns out like shit, then you can tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. But I suspect, in spite of the rocky start of this painting, I have a feeling it's going to turn out pretty fun when it's all said and done. Many hours later, I bet you I'm going to put in at least another 10 or 15 hours on this guy after the live stream. Because I intend to just put a lot of detail into this piece. But that's all right. I just pop on some VHS on my TV here. I got a stupidly large collection of horror movies on VHS, and I just pop those on and let them rip while I paint. I wish I could do that during the live stream too, but you know, then the video would get taken offline for copyright reasons. So I'm stuck painting in silence. Total fucking silence. To quote Steve Buscemi. Let's see, what do we got happening in the chat here? Michael asks, was Return of the Living Dead supposed to be a sequel to Night of the Living Dead? No, not directly. So there is a rights dispute between George Romero and John Russo on the Night of the Living Dead front there. And basically, at the end of it, John Russo had the rights to Living Dead, and George Romero just used Dead in his feature. So he did Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead from there. And then John Russo wrote a book called Return of the Living Dead, which I believe is more of a sequel to Night. But then Dan O'Bannon wrote the script for Return of the Living Dead, which was not based on John Russo's book. However, after that, John Russo then did a novel adaptation of Dan O'Bannon's script. So there's actually two Return of the Living Dead books written by John Russo, if I'm not mistaken. One based on entirely his story and the other based on Dan O'Bannon's script. The story gets very convoluted there, but I think I've got the salient points correct. Please correct me in the chat if I got any of that wrong. But man, what a great writer Dan O'Bannon was. Man, he wrote some bangers. Also, you know, you guys are probably familiar if you're big into horror, but if you're not, he also wrote Alien. He wrote Life Force. Yeah, just a rad writer. And of course, he directed Return of the Living Dead as well. Even still, every time I touch this, man, I'm just smearing paint around, but that's all right. We're making some progress tonight, again, just because of the whole difficult canvas to work with stuff. My goal, I just want to cover up all of the spots on this area that have that canvas showing through, and then at that point we're going to call it a night, just to allow that paint to dry before we move on. So but hopefully in doing that we'll get a lot more detail in on this face, and it'll start to be looking pretty nice, and you'll get a better feel for how the final piece should look. Henry says Life Force is friggin' awesome. Yes, man, I agree. Great movie, great performance. Stephen Railsback is the lead in that, and I always liked him. If you guys don't know Stephen Railsback, I think he's, yeah, not a lot of people know him nowadays, but back in the day, he was in some great films. He was the lead in The Stunt Man, but he also played Charles Manson in Helter Skelter, and just did probably my favorite performance of anyone who's played Manson. He was terrifying in that. And then he also played Ed Gein in the movie Ed Gein as well. So yeah, had a little bit of a career playing serial killers. Sarah says Smear and Paint sounds like an album name. Yeah, there we go. Or the story of my life. Henry asks, how many paintings do I usually have going at one time? That is a great question. Another great question. Right now I have, let me just look around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a stack up there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's another one over there. I have 11 paintings right now going on. Some of them have been long projects, other ones just recently started. So I try to do these paintings that I have for the live stream. I try to get them done more rapidly because I know people get a little more invested in them when they see me work on them. But then other paintings I just start working on for personal projects or for future gallery shows. And if there's no specific deadline, then I give myself time to just noodle around with them. Undead of Night says O'Bannon also did the screenplay for Dead and Buried. That's right. I love watching that one with the fog. Makes a great double bill. That would be a good double feature. I'll have to do that one day. Michael Garcia, Life Force is sick. I love vampire movies except Twilight. Yeah, Life Force is kind of like alien vampires, space vampires. It's a good one though. Very, very unique. Very unique. So I want, like, at the top of his head right here, I'm going to have to just darken up a little bit of this back wall, maybe beyond where it will be dark in the final painting, but because I want it to, just so I can see the outline here, but I want it to be like a candle after it's burned down a bit, but still you've got the, like the edges of the candle are sticking up, like right here, like this little piece. I really want that kind of a vibe to it. I think that would make it look pretty gnarly. Actually, that the sketchbook that I pulled the original sketch from, that I'm basing this on, I hadn't looked at that sketchbook in a while. That was from, it was again mostly a 2013 sketchbook, um, and there was some pretty fun stuff in there. So this one just kind of spoke to me, and I gravitated towards this. But that sketchbook actually also had a lot of the sketches that we were talking about. That movie Mercy had a lot of the sketches that I did for that movie in there as well too, just like early stage concept stuff. But there were some other fun ones, so there might be some more 2013 sketches getting turned into paintings in the future. Apparently that was a good year for sketching random crap that I like. Oh, and I gave away at the end of the year. I did a drawing and I gave away an oil painting to one of my patrons. So congratulations, Jennifer, who I believe is still watching, or at least she was here earlier in the night. Congratulations on winning the oil painting. So if you're again, check out my Patreon. Basically. The longer you're subscribed on there, the more entries you get into the drawings. So the end of next year, I'll do another drawing, give away a free painting. Of course, always have a bunch for sale. You can buy them anytime you want during the year, but I know that my prices are a bit prohibitive for some people, and that's quite all right. So if you want a chance to ever take one home for free, sign up to the old Patreon. And thus ends my commercial for my Patreon. Actually, speaking of, I have a bunch of paintings I have to list on my website still. Well, a little overdue for doing a website update. And if there's ever a painting I'm working on during this live stream, or you ever see a painting that I post on socials, they are all for sale, by the way. Just throwing that out there. So if you ever see one you dig, you don't have to wait for me to list it. You can just write me and say, hey, I want it, and I will sell that shit to you. As long as it's not already sold. Randomly break into whistling. That's how you know I forget that people are watching, when I just start whistling. Oh shit. I'm live on the interweb here. Why am I whistling? Sometimes you just get tied up in the process and you forget people are watching for a split second. Jennifer is still watching. Thank you, Jennifer. Julie says, already looking great in black and white. Thank you very much, Julie. You're awesome. Henry says, just about to ask that. I forgot what that is in relation to. About the art, the sale stuff? I don't know. And Michael's asking, are your eyes on the head going to be black, white, or are you going to have them looking cross-eyed up direction? Oh, so yeah, that's a good question. Probably incredibly hard to tell at this stage. They're closed. They're going to be closed. So these are going to be the eyelids, but they're also kind of puffy and saggy. So like I said, it is ultimately a candle, or at least it's melting out like a candle, but it is kind of like the head of a corpse ultimately. So the idea is, so like this line right here that I'm actively painting right there, that's the bottom of the closed eyelid. This right here is the bottom of the closed eyelid, and then this is just kind of like bags under the eyes there. So they're going to be closed. Good question. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell in the underpainting stage I know if you're just watching. But in my head, I know where it's going. Jennifer says the same thing in the chat. All right, good. You are correct, Jennifer. They are closed. Yeah, he's looking okay so far. Looking okay. Oh, the LA Art Show is this weekend. Actually, I think the opening was yesterday. So it's going on right now through the end of the weekend. I do not have anything in the LA Art Show, but I do have a bunch of friends that have pieces in there. And so I am hopeful to try to get out there this weekend and check it out. There's a ton of cool stuff there. I mean, I've only been a couple times in the past. I don't go every year religiously, but every time I do go, I am glad I did, because there's always cool stuff. I always find a couple new artists I hadn't heard of before, and I always see just rad stuff from artists that I already know and love. So I think it's at the LA Convention Center. So anyone watching going to the LA Art Show this weekend? If you do go and you see me there, come say hi. I'll be randomly roaming around. Again, I'm hopeful to get out there. It's been raining quite a lot in LA for the last few weeks, and now that the rain has let up, I am ready to get out of the house and interact with human beings again. Till I get tired of it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into the color on this piece, man. I think the more I think about this wax melting into like a rainbow pattern, the more I think that's going to be super cool. But yeah, I got to be in it for the long haul on this piece. There's going to be a lot of details, and I really want this to have a realistic vibe to it. So a lot of times when I'm painting, it's just part of my process, because I work in layers and stuff. But my paintings will go through a period where they have a cartoony vibe to them, and then you keep working and working it and working it, and then eventually, if you keep at it, you can get past the cartooniness and get into a more realistic vibe. Jennifer says, you talked about putting a lot of color into the candle wax, but right now I'm just seeing it as red wax, so at first glance the viewer would just think it's blood. Yeah, when it's black and white, yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, that sketch, the sketch was obviously, other than the candle up top, it was really just like a melted head, like it had just been pulled out of a out of a lake, and the skin was sloughing off of him. But yeah, leaning into the waxiness. But yeah, it's hard to say when it's just monochromatic. Yeah, it certainly could just look like blood. But you will see. Hopefully it'll come together the way I want it to. If it doesn't, then I will have failed. So I won't permit that to happen. We're gonna keep working it until it rocks. Liz says it was raining here in Chicago all day. Yeah, you must have gotten the storm that just passed us. Gothneck, hey buddy, looks badass. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. Good to see you here. Always good to have you. Are you working on any new paintings today? Yeah, let's throw a little more paint on this outlet. We might be getting pretty close to just pushing wet paint around. So, like I said, I'm just trying to cover up all the parts of the canvas that don't yet have paint on it, just so there's no white showing through, and then we're gonna call it a night. But there's still little bits throughout that we gotta patch up. Like these flowers. This is all just black paint, and then the white of the canvas showing through. So I gotta get in there and spruce those up a bit. Liz says, good night, everyone. Good night, Liz. Thanks for stopping in and watching. Always good to have you. Let's see, 8:53. Oh, we've been going for 2 hours already. All right. Time flies when you're slinging paint. Let's see, Michael says, it's like when people draw manga, it does look cartoony, it looks more realistic in the art. Yeah, okay, oh yeah, gotcha. Michael, or Henry says, do you work in acrylic as well? I like Nova paint, it stays wet a lot of the time. I do work in acrylic from time to time. I used to work in it almost exclusively for a while, and then switched over to oil, and mostly stick with oil these days. Sometimes I'll do a underpainting in acrylic and then finish it up in oil. Kind of play it by ear. Try not to put too many rules on myself as far as what I can or can't do. So I'm always open to doing an acrylic painting every now and again. But yeah, mostly I'm just love working in oil. Gothneck says, I'm working on some touch-ups to a big floral painting, and I'm hoping to ship it out next week. It's another giant floral. Oh, great. Shipping it out. Does that mean you're showing in a gallery, or you got a client that's buying it? Either way, congrats on the sale or the gallery or wherever. The fact that you need to ship the painting is always indicates something good happened, right? Good night, Michael. Thanks for tuning in. Always good to have you here. Undead Knight said, if I saw this art randomly somewhere, it would make me want to look up the artist. Well, thank you. Gothneck says, their painting is going to their sister and husband in Ohio. And it's a sale. All right, congrats. That's awesome. It's kind of nice when you know where the painting's going to as well. You know, if it's someone you know, then that means you'll get to visit it again someday. An art sale is an art sale, so I like any art sale, but it's also nice sometimes when I know it's going to a place where I can one day maybe run into it again. All right, folks, I think we're going to call it a night on this so far. Made some progress, not as much as I wanted to. Oh, can't tell if the stream froze up or if my browser just froze up. Let me refresh. Nope, it was just my browser. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night for tonight. Made some progress. I'll keep making more progress on this. I'm going to see you guys again in 2 weeks. I thank you all for tuning in. Thanks everybody who tuned in for the first time, and thank you to everybody who participated in the chat. Remember, if you made some art and you want to share it with me, email it to me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com, and I'll share it on an upcoming live stream. Hope you guys have a fantastic night. I appreciate you guys.